What's up, guys? Jordan McAbee here, fantasyracingonline.com, home of the Slingshot Fantasy Auto Contest, and today we're going to talk about Charlotte and the Coca-Cola 600. We actually had qualifying and practice this week, just like last weekend at Circuit of the Americas, but a little bit more time than last weekend to analyze and make picks. Last week we had starting lineup set. What was it, 2 hours before the race started? This time we got it on Saturday afternoon, so some good time. We'll go ahead and look at practice speeds first. So I wouldn't put a ton of stock into single lap runs. We're definitely looking at, the longer runs here, who's going to be good. And keep in mind that this practice was ran, what's probably going to be the early part of the race on Sunday. So Sunday's race, first off, Coca-Cola 600, so longest race of the year. It's going to be one of those where, we're halfway through and you're like, wow, we still have another full half of this race to go. It's going to take a while. It's going to be very long. And for Slingshot Fantasy Auto Contest players, this race is actually being cut into 4 stages by NASCAR. So there'll be 3 stage breaks and then the final checkered flag. Keep in mind that all 3 of those stages are scored in this game, so there will be more stage points up for grabs when it comes to that fantasy contest. I don't know if other fantasy contests out there do that. I'm sure they do, but for sure Slingshot does. So just keep that in mind. We'll get into similar tracks here in a little bit after we go over the practice here and starting lineup. So Austin Dillon was fastest in the practice on Friday. Alex Bowman, Kyle Larson. Eric Jones put up a really good early lap. They claimed he wasn't in qualifying trim, but when you go out there and you run 2 laps and it's faster than everybody else and you're usually not faster than everybody else, hey, whatever. Believe what you want. Like I said, though, what we're really looking at is long run speed. So this race is going to this is going to be a very long race. It's going to start at, I think, 6:15, somewhere around there. So we're going to go from early evening into the night. This track is going to change quite a bit. Track temperatures are going to change quite a bit, and the teams are going to have to keep up with the race car, the racetrack. Keep in mind that these speeds were kind of what we'll see maybe like in the early mid part of the race, if that makes sense. So don't put like full stock into these speeds. Austin Dillon doesn't have the best car this week. 10 lap average, Kyle Larson, as we all expected, just kind of blew everybody else out. I got Byron up there, Tyler Reddick, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Daniel Suarez, who looked solid both in practice and qualifying thus far this weekend. Kyle Busch, actually, I thought looked really good. Looking at lap times, looking at his long run speed, I really liked what I saw out of the 18. Chase Elliott's up there, Kevin Harvick. We'll look at, you can go to NASCAR.com and go to their lap averages on their, I don't even know 100% how to get to this. Google NASCAR.com leaderboard and you'll eventually get to this. You have to click on lap averages. But their awful website doesn't let you sort these columns. So I don't know why you would put this information up without allowing it to sort. But anyway, so if you want actual usable information, ifantasyrace.com, shout out to Ryan over there, has these other speeds other than top 10 or 10 lap average in readable format and sorted format. So William Byron had the best 15 lap average, followed by Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson right up there, Tyler Reddick, Austin Dillon, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin. Take a look at 20 lap averages And not many cars made a super long run like that. Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin are right there at 30.4 in that range. Chase Elliott was there. Kyle Larson kind of dropped off a bit. I'm going to guess he had, maybe 1 or 2 bad laps. I don't see his car being that, falling off that much. And then starting lineup, Larson, Stenhouse, Chase Elliott, Byron Harvick, the top 5. What's really nice about this week, especially for Slingshot, is we have a lot of options with good top tier drivers starting outside of the top 5 and outside of the top 10. So we got Truex starting 8th, Ryan Blaney 12th, Keselowski 13th, Hamlin 14th, got Logano rolling off 16th, Kyle Busch 20th. Other notables down here: Chris Buescher 27th. Eric Almirola 31st. Even when we do qualify, he sucks. That team just can't figure anything out this year. Similar track wise. So Charlotte's a 1.5 miles, low wear racetrack. We've had 2 races this season on that type of track. They were Las Vegas and Kansas. If you remember, going back to Las Vegas, Kyle Larson pretty much dominated it and won it. Led 103 of the 267 laps. Keselowski second, Kyle Busch third. Kansas, Larson dominated. I always forget what happened to him. But had the best car of that race. Kyle Busch ended up winning it. Kevin Harvick, Keselowski, DiBenedetto. That had that weird late restart. I really need to look back at what happened. I don't remember what happened to Larson that race. But anyway, so we'll take a look at first let's take a look at Charlotte over the last 2 years. So 2019 there was 1 race here. 2020 there was the Coca-Cola 600, and then they turned around and they raced right again on Wednesday in a much shorter race. So over those 3 races, best average finish, Chase Elliott at 2.3. We got Truex up there, Blaney, Logano, Kevin Harvick. I'm not seeing Kyle Larson. All right. So Larson obviously didn't race the 2 Charlotte races last year and had issues in 2019. So back to what I was saying. Chase Elliott, last 3 starts here, average finish of 2.7. Truex, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, all solid as well. Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is actually pretty good at this racetrack, rolling off second on Sunday after qualifying. Average running position over those 3 races: Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman, Joey Logano, William Byron. Remember, Chase Elliott should have won the Coca-Cola 600 last year. That was the first big pit road mistake that Alan Gustafson made. He remember there was a caution for Byron like 3 laps to go. Chase was leading, had it in control, and then decided to pit for whatever reason. Chase was able to get back up to second, but just noteworthy, Alex Bowman led 164 laps in last year's Coca-Cola 600, finished first in stage 1, first in stage 2, second in stage 3. He also pitted, I believe, at that late caution, and I want to say that he pretty much just gave up on that last lap. Because remember, last year with, this was my theory anyway, last year with the Charlotte races and any races where we raced at the same track back-to-back, they just inverted the top 20 field. So Bowman, 19 cars on a lead lap, I am fully convinced that he did not even try to get back up there and just decided to go 19th so he could start second the next race. That's what I saw. I watched the replay many times, and that I'm sticking to that. I don't think anybody ever admitted to it or whatever, but that's what I saw. Keselowski ended up winning last year's Coca-Cola 600. Looking at the low wear races of this season, like I said, Las Vegas, And Kansas, average finish-wise, Kyle Busch, Keselowski, second and 2.5. Then we got Truex, Hamlin, Byron. Average running position, though, which is a little bit more indicative of where and how good cars have been. Kyle Larson, 3.3. Brad Keselowski, 4.2. Denny Hamlin, 6.3. Ryan Blaney, 6.9. Nice. All have been very solid in the two low-wear mile-and-a-half tracks this year. Larson definitely has been the class of the field, though. Has led 235 laps, has 124 fastest laps. Just for reference, second most in that category is Keselowski and Byron. Obviously, we don't score fastest laps in the Slingshot contest, but noteworthy as far as who is good. And then looking at the 550 horsepower package this season, which we're going to take out the road courses, we're going to take out the super speedways. So we got 4 races. We got Homestead, Las Vegas, Atlanta, and Kansas so far in the intermediate 550 horsepower package. Best average finish is Kyle Busch at 4.8, Truex at 6.0, Larson 6.5, William Byron 6.5 as well. Average running position, again, Kyle Larson just average running position at 3.1 over those 4 races. Got Byron second at 6.9, nice. Truex and Hamlin at 7.7. Ryan Blaney up there at 8.4, and then Kyle Busch. Fastest laps again, Kyle Larson. Just, wow. 246. Second best is Byron at 86. Just, Larson's blowing everybody out of the water. He starts on the pole this weekend, which is always, a risky pick in the Slingshot game because you do get those negative place differential points if a driver loses position. But with someone that's been as fast as Larson has been this year, it's hard to or it's a lot easier to make that pick and take him. So looking at the Slingshot driver salaries this week, got Truex up top at 12.5, Larson at 12.3, Hamlin at 12.2. So the build that I'm going to go, so right off the bat, I'm taking Chris Buescher, and I'm not thinking twice about it. He starts 27th. At Charlotte, he has an average driver rating of 69 over the last 4 races. Nice. But, top 20 in pretty much all but in 5 of the last 7 starts here, including a 10th last year, a 6th in 2019. This year, I really like how the Roush Fenway cars have been running as far as in the 550 intermediate package. Where are we at here? Buescher has an average finish of 12th, which is 8th best in the series. Has an average running position of 13.5, which is 13th best in the series. In the 2 low wear races, Buescher average finish of 11th, average running position is 17.5. But still, he starts 27th. He should be a top 20 car. I really like that. I think he has top 10 upside. Speaking of, I don't think we didn't go over the algorithm. Okay. Before we get to those picks, algorithm predicted finishing order. No surprise here. We got Kyle Larson projected to win full 2 points in the power index over Brad Keselowski and second, then Martin Truex Jr. Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin rounding out the top 5. William Byron, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, and Ryan Blaney, the projected top 10. I will note, and I wrote it in the article, I think Ryan Blaney is a little undervalued by the algorithm this week. He should have more speed than that. One thing I don't like about Blaney is he's not great in night races, and I don't really know why. I don't know if he has like a vision problem. That's been a theory that someone's flown out to me. But it's just weird. Him and Kevin Harvick, neither of them are great at night, it seems like. One thing to note, last year at the intermediates, Joe Gibbs Racing really was very fast at night. And I think we're going to see that again this weekend. So algorithm has Joe Gibbs Racing projected to finish 3rd, 5th, and 7th. I think they could be much better than that. Chris Buescher predicted to finish 17th. So I'll take that any day of the week in Slingshot Contest. My other low dollar guy, I think I'm going to go Michael McDowell. That's where my brain is first going to. I don't mind Corey LaJoie if you need to wrestle around that cap, or Ryan Preece. Ryan Preece was really bad last year at the intermediate tracks. He just wrecked all the time. I think McDowell's definitely the safer option. So Preece finished 22nd and 24th here in the 2 Charlotte races, which is pretty good for him anyway, and for him in 2020. If you look at, so Preece had an incident at Kansas, finished 32nd, finished 15th at Las Vegas. Actually, let's do a Preece in there just for fun. So we got the 14th row on the lineup already with 35,700 left for the rest of the roster. I love Kyle Busch this week. I think he's going to contend for the win, honestly. Really like the speed I saw out of him in practice. I really like how he's performing this year in the 550 horsepower package. Best average finish, pretty solid average running position. You look at the low wear tracks this year, average finish at 2.0, average running position 7.7. And then Charlotte, we all know how it's 3 races, and Kyle Busch wasn't great last year. So decent numbers though, 12.3 average finish, 11.1 average running position. So I do like Kyle Busch. Also, you got Joey Logano there starting 16th as well. So you got Kyle Busch starting 20th, Joey Logano starting 16th. Both of them have great upside. Not to mention Ryan Blaney here starting 11th. There's so many options this week in the Slingshot Contest. If you're going off of my algorithm and its projected finishing order, Keselowski's a great pick. Starts 13th, projected to finish 2nd. I like Denny Hamlin a lot this week. You can go back. If you go back to, let me see if I can pull this up really quick. If you go back to Rotodoc's tweets about Hamlin this week. Now, he's a big Denny Hamlin fan, so take that with a grain of salt. But and then you got me, who doesn't like Denny Hamlin at all. So, let me find it real quick. Probably should have pulled this up before, eh? All right. So, okay, Hamlin, he mentioned, Hamlin's misleading result in last year's 600 should mostly be ignored in terms of finishing position, average running position, and driver rating. That was when his car had that ballast, and they had to come in and fix it, and I think they got a big penalty. And then he finished 2nd in the other Charlotte oval race a few days later. So we look at Hamlin, here at Charlotte recently. So he had a couple, here's that ballast race, and then 17th. I don't remember what happened in 2019, but 4 top 5s in his last 6 starts here. Add on a couple more top 5s in the last 3 before that. Hamlin this year in the 550 horsepower package, very solid. Average finish is 7.8. Average running position is 7.7. Has the 3rd best average running position on the low wear tracks this year. So starting 14th, Hamlin definitely has the upside to score big in the Slingshot Contest, and he's actually still. It's probably going to take a lot for him. So you look at overall season averages this year in this contest, Hamlin averaging almost 100 Slingshot points per week, just insane. William Byron 2nd at 85.6 per race, which is noteworthy because he's always starting up front. So he's getting those stage points. He's getting those finishing points. And then Logano, Keselowski, Larson, and Elliott all really close there in the 80s as far as the average points per race. But Hamlin blowing everybody out of the water in this contest this year. So that leaves 12-2 on the table. I would probably here, I want to get Larson in there with this. So I'd probably go Larson, take off Kyle Busch, and go to Logano. And then that leaves you room to either go McDowell or Preece. So you got Larson, Hamlin, Logano, Buescher, and then either McDowell or Preece. That's just what I'd do if I was going with this lineup. If I did want to go Kyle Busch, I'd probably jump down here and grab Alfredo or LaJoy and then get Kyle Busch instead of Logano if I'm going for that, Larson, Hamlin build up top. If you did want to go Keselowski instead of Larson and just go, pure place differential, you could then, go Hamlin, Keselowski, Kyle Busch. That leaves you $800 to play with. The thing is, I definitely don't like Daniel Suarez. So you got $7,100 left with this lineup. I don't love Daniel Suarez at starting 9th. Chase Briscoe, 21st. That's probably about where he's going to end up. Eric Jones, 19th. I don't think he's going to be that great, even though he did have a fast lap in practice. So you're kind of stuck there. And at that point, I would rather take the risk going with Larson instead of Keselowski than, if given the choice. I think you're going for that similar build unless you go off of Buescher and maybe go to DiBenedetto, So if you go to DiBenedetto instead of Buescher, again, that leaves you $6,600, and you can go McDowell or Preece or Alfredo or LaJoy. And then up top, you got Hamlin, Keselowski, Kyle Busch. Really solid 3. Really, really solid place differential 3. Looking at DiBenedetto's stats, low wear this year, DiBenedetto average finish 10.0, average running position 11.7, pretty solid. In the 550 horsepower package, DiBenedetto average running position 12.7, which is 10th best. Average finish of 14.8. And then here at Charlotte, not great numbers, but the potential is there. Like I said, if you didn't want to go Buescher, I really like Buescher this week, but I really liked Martin Truex Jr. last week, and we all know what happened there. So I think that wraps it up. Going to try to be pretty quick this week. I don't like these weekends where we have such quick turnaround between qualifying and the race, and obviously, last week with qualifying and the race being, within hours of each other, that was just awful for fantasy NASCAR players and myself included. So good luck this weekend. It's going to be a long one. It's going to be a fun one. Usually, it's a boring race. Pack your cooler, get that thing full, drink a bunch of beer. We don't have work on Monday, so have fun. Good luck. See ya.